sisters like Angel and Ally, where we are checking in on things that matter. Today, I'm so excited because my amazing, beautiful friend, who I haven't met yet, but I feel very close to and connected with. That's how powerful she is as a woman, is Miss Sarah Parlow. She's a certified registered nurse anesthetist, if I said that right.
Great
And
job.
and she's also a producer, an amazing actress, and we're going to be talking about that as well. She's an ally to the trans community, and we love her. And of course, she's a world traveler.
Yes,
Global girl! Yeah! So now, without further ado, let's welcome Miss Sarah Parlow.
Hi, ladies. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to be here and spill the tea.
Yes. What topic do you want to start first? How are you?
Well, so many things going on in the world right now. But why don't we start with some fun stuff? And so I guess my fun contribution to the world was my short film, which is also a sort of public service announcement called Lit Girl.
Yeah,
I
so
saw
excited. So what's the inspiration behind Lit Girl? Like, how did it all start? Like, what was your inspiration behind it? Like, what was that moment where you're like, you know what? I have to do this.
Okay, so I transitioned 25 years ago in 1995, and I feel like there was a lot less awareness around trans people, and especially in the realm of dating. So, you know, I'm attracted to men, so a lot of times, you know, when it comes to the interaction between trans women and cis men, it can be very problematic, right? There's not enough like dialogue and awareness and understanding. And I feel like that place always was a struggle for me. And so Lit Girl is my love letter to my community in a way that we can bridge that gap and have some dialogue and talk about some of the core issues that I think a lot of guys struggle with when they're faced with the opportunity to date us. And so how can we make it fun and sexy and gorgeous? And so I had just a wonderful cast of ladies that showed up and brought their A game that day to really touch on the issues. And
So I actually watched Lit Girl, and it's amazing. Like, so many beautiful women, so many topics, so many ideas, so many like, it's like a PSA, and there's like acting also involved, and I'm so grateful for you like to do that, because I think it's nice to educate guys, you know, on how to approach dating trans women, or how to like respect trans women also. It's really hard, like dating. Obviously we all have, I mean, I have tried also like pretty much meeting guys that they don't know that I was trans. and sometimes there's like that big like turn in terms of like they're not interested anymore, you know, or like the respect goes out the door. And I think as women, you know, we should be respected also, just like all the other cis women.
agree.
Well, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, like, I myself, I have a problem when it comes to like the dating world. So tell us, how can I see Lit Girl? Like, where can we find the film that you produce? Because this is really amazing, especially for the trans community. And me as a trans person living in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, I need this. I need to be lit. Okay?
And I'm here for you, sister. I am so here for you. So I wanted to make it widely available. It's on YouTube. You can find it a couple places. Our good friend and star of the show is Carolina Gutierrez.
Yes.
Love Carolina.
Starlet Diner people.
You all know her from Girls Like Us and from Starlet
And
Diner.
Girls Like Us, yes.
And so basically on her YouTube channel, which is Caroland, you can find it, and it's had 85,000 views so far. So we're doing great there. Also on the Now Ever Artists YouTube channel, you can find a shorter version, and then I'll put it in the link in my bio for my Instagram page, which is Global Girl 22, girl with 2 R's. So
Yeah, and send us the link also. We'll add it on the comments below.
Yes, for sure. And so really, it's just about getting the message out. I think a lot of times men's reactions are based on just a lack of education. There's just a lot of assumptions about what it means to be trans. So we can change that. And
so what about not the guys who wants to date trans? Like if you're a random person, not related to anybody who's trans, or not trans yourself or not trans attracted, how could you be an ally to the trans community? Like, do you have any suggestions for somebody who doesn't know or doesn't have anybody to kind of personally talk to ask?
Great question, Angel, and thank you for bringing that up. It's such a critical time for allies, for our community right now, really for all minorities, for Black folks, for any minority, for trans people. And there's a lot of different ways. So first of all, education. Educate yourself. Watch trans movies, especially ones written and directed or starring real trans people.
Starlet Diner.
Starlet Diner.
On Amazon.
Shameless plug.
Lit Girl again, of course.
Lit Girl again.
And then what's another one that you can... Oh, go ahead.
Go
another
ahead,
show, Pose, of course.
Pose, yes. So many. So reading articles or books is a huge thing. So just immersing yourself with awareness. We also need your help. Donate to causes like the National Center for Trans Equality, which helps us with our political presence. Just recently today, the Trump administration rolled back protections on the rights of trans people in regards to healthcare. Yeah. So we really need support and help right now. Human Rights Commission is a great place that supports trans people. ACLU. Another way to be an ally is to vote. Vote. Yep. This is a voting year. It's coming up in November.
When Trump was still running before, he said he's not going to touch the trans community. But since he came into office, there's so much things that he's been rolling back and everything, So really, it's sad.
It's time to speak up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, girl.
Yes, time to speak up. This is the time where we have the power to voice, our concerns. And one of the best things, of course, to voice that is through voting. So thank you so much, Sis Sarah, for stressing that out. Yeah.
Yes. Use your natural right as a citizen to make your opinion heard. One other way is just having conversations with people. When you hear transphobia, speak up. You can really change people one person at a time by just having dialogue. If you know a trans person, enlighten other people about, we have way more in common with the world than we have that's different. And lastly, just show up for your trans friends, family, coworkers. Check in on them, show that you care, and know that everyone's got a struggle in life. We're all, fighting some fight, but certain times, certain people are struggling more than others. And
the trans community have higher rates of suicide, higher rates of, unemployment.
And we're the least represented citizens in this country. And so we really need to come together as one.
One.
I'm agreed.
So I'm curious, your Instagram handle is Global Girl. So I'm sure you've traveled everywhere. So we kind of shared this with me and Ally also, on our previous episodes in terms of some of our struggles, kind of in terms of if people know that we're trans or if they don't know, if it's a country that's rights are less or it's more scary. I wonder what your experiences are or have been, or in terms
and
of
if you have tips in regards to a trans woman traveling overseas.
Yeah, those are all great things to bring up. Travel is just the key to life. It gets you out of your bubble, exposes you to so much. It's such an incredible experience. There are special things about being a female and about being trans. So if possible, I always encourage trans women to travel with someone. You know, you're stronger in numbers. So,
Oh, wow, that's true.
Yeah.
It's two separate things. It's being trans and also just being, you know, a woman, which is the gender on some places do not have.
How about in terms of like someone traveling, like, and let's say they're in the process of like transition.
Yes.
How do you think they can take precaution if, for example, their documentation doesn't necessarily match how they present themselves?
Boy, that's a tough one. And I think in that case, I would probably bring like a letter from a professional with me, like a psychiatrist or something, explaining that I've been diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and part of my therapy is to live and function in the gender in which I identify.
So have you traveled before, like kind of when everything was not yet matching?
No, I actually, the first thing I did after having reassignment surgery at age 21 was to apply for a passport.
Yeah.
So I had the benefit of never having to be in that position, really, but that can be, I imagine, very difficult, you know?
Yeah, it was, like for me, like when I was new, so my state ID kind of like had a female face, but the thing did not change yet, the gender identification. So when I would travel locally, I mean, luckily it was in the United States. So I felt a little bit more comfortable because it's not yet abroad. But I had to show the ID, and of course, you know, like how they would react in terms of like seeing the male. And
right.
Most of the time they probably don't look right away with that, but on some occasions they would be like, you know, and then you just have to speak up, you know. And then one of the recent experiences I had was when I was stressed. All my doctors have pretty much changed. My middle name is kind of like a male name, which I kind of dropped on my ID. And when I came back, the immigration officer in the United States asked, so like, do you have a middle name? I said, yes, it was this before. So I think it haunts me a little bit, maybe because I don't know how in depth they can like go on search if any of those changes happen.
Yeah.
Any of those problems? Anybody or like similar stories?
Have you, Ally, or?
Well, I remember one of like my funny moments was this was before I became a US citizen, where my name then was my previous name before I transitioned, my legal name now as Ally. So I traveled then I did a mission trip with this organization, and then we just came back. And then of course, how I looked did not match what's in the passport. But when I suddenly right away said up front that, yes, that's correct, I'm a transgender woman, I think sometimes, and then he said, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, and it's funny how like the officer was so like apologetic because I just embraced who I really am or who I was. So I think sometimes if you're confident about who you are and if you're secure, then other people will feel that. But if, of course, you made them feel like as if you're also not secure of yourself, then that's where the uncomfortability could begin.
Yeah, because in the Philippines,
excellent.
Because in the Philippines, in the passport, like you can't change the name yet, you can't change the gender identification, and all of
it will be far from like the Philippines if ever that will happen.
If you're married, you're not even going to be considered married because they, first of all, they would acknowledge you as your birth given, you know, male, and then because the marriage, let's say because we're all attracted to guys, so if we get married to a guy, then it will not be acknowledged as a legal marriage because they will still consider it a same-sex relationship. And some of the benefits would be like pretty much going to the Philippines and being able to stay there longer and this and that. So Philippines is a long way to go, but I'm glad that we're kind of here and kind of are able to do some changes, you know, that are a little bit more on the trans rights. Although again, they're kind of being rolled back. So hopefully it just keeps moving forward.
And you know, like I also want to take this opportunity since, you know, Sis Sarah has transitioned for like, you know, since 1995, like she said. So Sis Sarah, for those people who want to transition, and if they say that it's too late, is there something really that's too late or too early to transition? What would your advice be to those people who are thinking whether they should transition or not? Like, what would you say to them?
I feel like every day that you waste where you can't be yourself is a loss, and it's never too late in order to victoriously claim yourself. So I don't care if you're 14 or 84, you know, if you live one day in your life victoriously, like owning your truth, you can have all the money in the world, and if you can't be yourself, what value is all of that money? So it's your birthright.
And as a trans woman, how do you feel right now, like living as Sarah, as who you really are? Like, how is that for you since 1995 to now? Like, is there something that, you know, you could tell us about, you know?
Yeah, I think everything in your life works better when you're just true to yourself. My family specifically said they were shocked at how much I came out of my shell when I transitioned, as if I had just sort of been waiting until that moment in my life to begin my life. Doesn't mean you still don't have problems, or, you know, that there aren't obstacles to overcome. But you can finally move past that huge, like, albatross around your neck of gender dysphoria. And it's liberating. When you're not putting all your energy and everything into that conflict, you have so much energy to give back to the world.
And what inspires you to do this? What's your inspiration every day? Like, because I find you as someone who's like so full of light, so full of inspiration, so full of, you're like beauty and brains combined. you know, me, I don't have much brains. So
that's right, up plenty of brains and charm.
Or maybe who inspires you?
Correct. There you go.
Okay. I will have to say that there were many years in my life where back then when you transitioned, I felt like it was considered like a better standard just to be stealth and not tell people and disappear, because prevailing social attitudes are much different. And I lived like that for many years, and there's a glass ceiling to that, and you can't show up for your community like you want. What changed for me was when I started to hear and learn about Janet Mock, who had language, such intelligent language in which to describe the transgender experience. And she fearlessly stood up and announced who she was and just claimed her life. So I really have to thank Janet. She instructed me, and she came years after me.
We love Miss Janet.
We love Janet.
Love
Ally met Janet when Mark Saligo's book, you know, was launched, and
yes.
I met Janet Mock here in LA at the Bill Maher, you know, the Bill Maher show.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
She is such an inspiration. She writes for the Post, you know, so like again, like you know, watch trans written narratives and support trans written narratives, because they are, you know, our side of the story, and it's nice to be heard and it's nice to be supported. So we have to like end soon because the alarm has been over the 15 minutes. Last question, Sarah, just to quickly, 3 quick tips, because you're so beautiful, beauty, health, and you're so healthy, and something about self-care.
Self-care.
Okay, so my beauty tip is this. I'm a huge fan of this product. I don't get anything for this, but I'm just sharing a tip. I love Olaplex #3. It's a great product, and what it does is it's basically like a treatment that you can put in your hair, and if you have damaged hair or from heat or chemicals, I leave it in my hair overnight, and then you just wash it out, and it leaves your hair so super soft and shiny. And
looks super soft and shiny, and I love the curls, and I love the color.
Exactly. Curls and so it's a great bond reinforcer for your hair, even if you haven't used it. We'll go into that later, but yeah, Olaplex #3 for hair and beauty. For health, I think it's important to move your body every day. I think that beauty really starts inside. You've got to get that blood pumping. Even if you're only exercising for 10 minutes, it's not only going to make your skin look better and you feel better mentally, it like does wonders for you, even 10 minutes. So don't be afraid to move your body. And lastly, Self-care in our community is so important. There's a lot going on in the world, a lot of messages coming at us. Turn it off. 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes if you can, meditate. Close your eyes, breathe, and just let things go. We all need to kind of break from the constant barrage of stimulation going on. And if you do these 3 things, I think your life will feel and look much better.
And there you heard everything from Sarah.
Don't forget to watch Lit Girl again.
Yes, thank you so much.
Follow Sarah also on Instagram, Global Girl 22.
And again, I'm Angel.
And I'm Ally.
You're watching Sisters Like Angel and Ally. Bye.
Bye.
Love you, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Love you.
Love you. Ah! So great. Oh my God, you ladies are so fun.